What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Almost Functional 40K. Um, Here today to talk about something that came up recently to me. It's people coming back to the game after having been gone for a couple editions. Played someone recently who was kind of getting back into the game after 5th edition, and those who played earlier editions before about 8th, I would say, the game was more about killing than scoring objectives for the most part. Hit a little ITC stuff, start doing some scoring in, I believe, 6th or 7th, but it was still mainly a killing game. Obviously, killing is still important in this game, but scoring, trading pieces are something that you didn't really have to worry about too much back in the earlier editions of gaming. So I find that's one of the hardest things for people to understand or learn, is that when you read the codex, don't just look at the strength of your attacks or the strength of your defense, like how well you can survive, how well you can kill. You need those little cheap units that can go do an action, can go just be in a place and then die. Like, you need a decent amount of sacrificial units to play the secondary game in 10th edition. So that's just something that really needs to be looked at when you're coming back from a long time away. People who have joined in the last couple editions, when that's kind of been the norm for the game, might not exactly understand what I'm talking about, but used to be in the early editions, you would fight all game, and then at the end of the game, you would possibly even just add up how many total points of stuff was killed, where it was all about killing. Sometimes it didn't matter till the last turn, and then you just had to see who had the most table quarters, weird stuff like that. So it was all about killing. Like, it wasn't about, all right, I need to hold an objective this turn or do an action this turn. It was just, I need to go out and kill as much of your stuff as I can, so that at the end of the game, I either have killed more stuff than you for points, or I'm able to control more portions of the board than you. So that was a really significant change to the game, and it took me personally a little bit to adjust to that and to actually even come to enjoy that, because it's a completely different style of gameplay. So at first, I really didn't even care for it. I'm like, this isn't fun. This isn't 40K. I just want a couple big bricks of my units, a couple big bricks of your units. Let's meet in the middle and see who wins. But as I've played more and got into it, I now do enjoy the more tactical, cerebral side of 40K. It's a much more thinking game than a just throw dice at each other game. So I do think that is for the better. It has led to some more high-level tricks. I don't know if it is called tricks, but high-level plays you can make with movements and pile-ins and stuff that wasn't as important in earlier editions. Like, I just run in and kill you. Next time I go kill your other unit, I don't have to worry about, can I pile to this objective? Can I, get back into cover? Because cover wasn't really as big a thing before either. Like, either was like no cover or a little cover, and earlier editions, the killiest thing you had was like a Dreadnought Devastator squads. Like, we didn't have knights, we didn't have all this stuff, so the survivability of your stuff was up because the killiness of other units were down. Marines used to just run lots of tactical squads, and that was really good because they were one of the better units in the game. They were super versatile. Now, you never see tactical squads. They're kind of been replaced by intercessors, which maybe you see one sitting back holding an objective. It's just a completely different type of game. So if you're coming back to the edition, I would watch lots of battle reports, play some little test games. Just know it's not what you're used to. It's closer to chess than it ever has been before. It's really about leveraging your assets to score points, not necessarily kill units. So there will be times when you necessarily might not kill something you could just because you may need to get some no prisoners or something later on, or you have something there you could kill, but well, really I need to go touch this objective and do an action, but then I don't get to kill anything with this unit, which is a really, really weird thing to adjust to coming from earlier editions. Having a unit not use its full offensive output and just like kind of stand around and do something for a turn. I know a few people who have played all the editions but still have trouble adapting to that. Mostly it's older players, been playing since like third edition, fourth edition, that just can't adjust to that trading piece mentality. They just, if their unit's out there and there's something for that to shoot a charge, then they're going to do that over trying to do an action and score points, which which I've found makes it really, really hard to win games into people who concentrate more on scoring the secondaries. So that's where you find the new school versus old school. A lot of times the old school people get a little tilted or upset because they want to fight you. They want to play the game the way they've always played. They want to move up, shoot you, you shoot them, they charge you, you charge them. But you run away, you jump on an objective, score a point. Well, they come over and kill you. They're killing more of your stuff than you're killing of theirs. At the end of the game, they have more stuff left than you do because you keep trading pieces to score points, and they just keep killing stuff. And then, they won the fight, but they lost the game. And I find that really, really, it's hard for them to grasp or understand sometimes. Um, so that's just a quick little thing, nothing super too in depth there. I just watched, there's some videos on here. There's videos on other channels about a lot of the changes coming into 10th edition from 9th. That'll help a little bit if you're coming from earlier editions, but if you're coming back from like 5th edition or something like that, it only helps so much because some of the things that changed are already things that were new to you. But just know you can't play this edition with old edition mindsets. So if you're coming back, just know the models and the lore are still amazing. I mean, the game's amazing. I'm not trying to say that's not, but the game is different. You have to have a different mindset, not just, whereas before you looked at, all right, how can I kill more of yours while keeping more of mine alive? You have to approach it now as, how can I score more points while limiting your points? And once you can get a grasp on that part of the edition, then it's really, really super, super fun. The player base is more expansive than it's ever been, but I find more accepting, and the gameplay is a lot cleaner. And by that I mean people speak their intent a lot more. Like, all right, I'm trying to move here to have line of sight here, or trying to move here to not have line of sight. So you can kind of like, oh, well, I don't think you're able to get out of that. Like, as opposed to before, you'd just do something, then somebody would move out to shoot you or something. You're like, oh, I thought I was hidden. Like, no, you're not. Like, gotcha was a thing before, um, which it isn't as much now, which I think is a really, really good thing. It's all about intent. You don't have as much cheating. You don't have as much people trying to bully other players through a game to get their way on stuff. I mean, you still have a few of those people here and there. I mean, you'll never eliminate that completely, but there used to be a much higher percentage of the player base that was like that before, and I find that's mostly been tempered. A lot of that is because the better players in the game are not like that. The better players in the game are very upfront about how they play and being clean with their play, because a lot of them, it's their job. Like, they pay for coaching, they stream their YouTube channels, they stream their games. So if they get a bad reputation as a cheater or a bully or just a bad person, it actually affects their wallets now, which is a major, major thing. And that's not the only thing, because a lot of these guys were like that before it became their job. Especially like Lennon, Siegler, um, a lot of those guys that came up with the Brohammer team in Florida was really where a lot of that started to change, especially in the Southeast. Um, and then they moved on to the Art of War, where we had guys like Nick and all them. So really started pushing that narrative of speaking your intent, being clear on what you're trying to do, what your opponent's trying to do. Like, you're trying to beat each other, but you're playing with each other. There's like the social contract of the game became a much bigger, more important thing, and I think that has done nothing but improve the enjoyment of the game and help grow the game. And as YouTube and everything keeps expanding, our game's going to keep growing. We're going to keep getting more people. So I hope we can keep that level of upfrontness, I guess is a way to say it. Just at that level of not being that guy, I guess is a way to say it. But all right, that's all I'm going to ramble on about that now. That was just something that came up recently to me and I thought was something I haven't really heard much said out on here, but it's something that I've noticed a lot of. But with that being said, like, share, subscribe, all that cool YouTube stuff, and we will catch you guys next time.